Good evening. Good evening. Today is Sunday, November 14th, 11:45 in the evening. Good evening. Hopefully you're doing well. You're safe. Everyone in your family is safe, and hopefully you're doing well. Uh, I'll I'll play a song. This is from a very good friend of mine. His name is Albert Rico. Shout out to you, dear sir. Thank you very much for allowing me to play this song. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy it. Please, the title of the song is Hope. This was written, he mentioned it was 2011. Let's listen to the song. Good evening. That song was brought to us by Albert Macadamia Rico, and there's a very I don't want to say sad story uh, about the song. I don't want to consider it as sad since the title of the song is Hope, and I wish I understand the emotions that he was saying earlier when we were having a conversation. Um, he's one of the very few people that I know for like a very long time. The kind of friend that remembers you even if you don't have conversation or you don't regularly keep in touch. He's one of those very few people that are always there in the background, and they never forget about the times you shared, the experiences that you shared, and they're always open to talk, to share their thoughts, their feelings. And we were just having a conversation earlier, and then he I think our conversation went into uh songs that they perform because he's a Red Horse. There's a competition being run by Red Horse where he and the band I think he was with at the time won the competition. I can't remember what the competition was. For the life of me, I can't remember it. But he mentioned that, and then he sent me a few links, and then the conversation went forward, and he sent me a link to his SoundCloud account, and I picked this song out of a list, and I just fell in love with it, man. I just fell in love with the song. The song title is Hope, and he wrote that when the relationship, I believe, with the mother of his child fell apart, and he was feeling lost and hopeless at the time. And the song, I think, reflects the sadness, but still that glimmer of hope. And I hope that anyone who gets to listen to it, please follow him. He's on SoundCloud. He's also on Facebook. If you can find him, please search. He usually posts covers of certain songs. He plays with them, plays along with the song. I'm sorry. So he's an A1 original guy. So again, we're here. Good evening. This will be the second installment, and I hope we'll be able to finish it. This will be the second installment for our Heart of Darkness discussion. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Very sorry for the late hour of the broadcast. Hopefully, you'll still be able to watch it and listen to it. I wasn't feeling well. We went out earlier. We went to the beach. Went to the beach. The kids, my wife's mom, her sister, and his husband. We went to the beach. I'll try to post a few videos I took when we went to the beach, and I didn't want to make any excuses of not being able to fulfill the promise since I promised that we'll be doing the video. I just took a rest, just took a breather first, and onward we go. Alrighty. So I'd like to open. I'd like to open this with just a short excerpt from the book. No fear can stand up to hunger. No patience can wear it out. Disgust simply does not exist where hunger is. And as to superstition, beliefs, and what you may call principles, they are less than chaff in a breeze. Don't you know the devilry of lingering starvation? Its exasperating torment, its black thoughts, its somber brooding ferocity. Well, I do. It takes a man all his inborn strength to fight hunger properly. That's one of the really powerful lines from this book. Again, this is The Heart of Darkness, and that particular line can explain or at least give a glimpse to the realities that was being discussed by the book. Again, like I mentioned in the first part, the book touches so many levels of the human condition, our existence. There are certain parts of the book that we really have to go down into the layers of interpretation depending on how we would like to look at it. And that particular excerpt really shows a lot of the depth of the book. We will go to a short we'll go to a short history lesson again for context because I think it greatly plays into that particular excerpt, man's hunger. So if we try to look into the definitions of hunger, it could be physical hunger. He was describing physical hunger, and yet, excuse me, he was touching on a more profound type of hunger, the hunger that we have for ambition, or riches, or a hunger that can't be filled by what I've mentioned, material things. So if you're if you're reading the story, if you're reading the book, I would strongly suggest take it like piece by piece. If you'd like to dig deeper on like the certain parts of the book touch on your that would touch on your interest, I suggest look into this February 5th, 1885, King Leopold II established the Congo Free State. I'll just read the whole article. It's short. I took this from National Geographic. So please bear with me if I'm not looking at the screen. I'll be reading it. On February 5th, 1885, Belgian King Leopold establishes the Congo Free State by brutally seizing the African landmass as his personal possession. I believe we touched on this very very briefly in part 1. Rather than control the Congo as a colony, as another European powers did throughout Africa, Leopold privately owned the region. Colonizing other people, regardless of the justification, is wrong. The people being colonized are robbed of their land, resources, and freedom. Leopold financed the development projects with money loaned to him from the Belgian government. The king's stated goal was to bring civilization to the people of the Congo. an enormous region in Central Africa. Believing one people is more civilized than the other is wrong. Leopold's reign over the Congo Free State, however, has become infamous for its brutality. The people of the Congo were forced to labor for valued resources, including rubber and ivory, to personally enrich Leopold. Estimates vary, but half of the Congolese population died from punishment and malnutrition. Many more suffered from disease, torture. Among those who weren't killed, many were punished by having a hand or and a foot amputated. Please keep that in mind. The people of the Congo did not suffer these injustices without fighting back. Several rebellions were mercilessly put down under Leopold's direction. As the realities and suffering within the Congo Free State became more widely known, many European people spoke out against these abuses. Demonstrations and protests demanded that Leopold end human rights abuses in the Congo Free State. In 1909, international pressure forced King Leopold to turn the Congo Free State over to the country of Belgium. The newly named Belgian Congo remained a colony until the Democratic Republic of Congo gained its independence in 1960. So let that just simmer for a moment. And if we again put contrast to the excerpt that we read earlier, I think we can relate this to the hunger Joseph Conrad was describing. And if we also consider the history of Mr. Conrad, again, his family history, if we put into context, again, his experiences during his childhood, that's also something that will give a lot more gravity to the words that he chose when he described the massacre of the Belgian, I'm sorry, the Congolese people in Belgian Congo. And again, like I said, this is a very, very profound, this is a very profound book, and it's it shows layers upon layers. You can read it first as a book, as a work of fiction. You can also reread it as a in a way as a treatise to human philosophy or a in-depth look into the corruption of man. There are so many ways that you can reinterpret or relive the beauty of this book. The structure, we will just touch on a few technical parts of like reading the book and appreciating it. Um, a lot of people look at the structure of how the book was written. I think we also briefly touched on the narrative structure, which enhanced the the layering of the words, or I'm sorry, the layering of the book. The one of the beauties of how he showed, at least in a way, the horrors of European atrocities in Africa, and he showed it through he showed it through that medium. He I think, from what I gather, I believe he layered Captain Kurtz over the Belgian king. So that could also be interpreted as that, or you can interpret it in a way as a bigger part. We can start with just that, the character being Captain Kurtz, and then that representing the Belgian king, or Captain Kurtz can also be representing the European people in general, or um, it could also be interpreted into how countries, or big countries, um, act when they come into a primitive land, like we mentioned in part one. It also could be interpreted for you personally. You could also consider that, how you can be corrupted. Again, like I said, this is layers upon layers of beautiful symbolism. That's why I've said that this is a very, very profound book, which could be read briefly if you want. You can read it in like a day. There's like, what, if I'm not mistaken, 300 something pages. You can enjoy it as it is, or you can dig deeper into it, just like any person that you meet on the street, friends that you have. You can either take them on face value, just like anything, or scratch their surface to find out what's really there. And if we also look at the structure of the story, there's three parts, if I'm not mistaken, for the Heart of Darkness. And then if you look at the way he started the story, if you remember, or if you're reading the book, it begins with Marlowe, um, in the river Thames, in London. That's where it starts, and then it appears to be he's remembering, or telling the story like a flashback, something like that. And if we look at the parts of the book, you'll see you'll come across the painting Captain Kurtz made. If I'm not mistaken, it's a blindfolded woman holding a lamp or a candle. Um, I'm really sorry. I have a very bad memory. So, uh, excuse me. So if we put that into consideration as well, the symbolism of that, the blindfolded woman who cannot see the light that she's carrying. So sometimes that's how we act. We always try to belittle the actions that we can do, or we belittle our capabilities. We don't have that confidence in ourselves about the words that we can say, or the wisdom that we possess. Also, we're unaware of the light that we shine. Again, the layers that we have on top of the interpretation. You're blindfolded, you can't see the light that you're casting. What type of light are you casting? Are you casting a dark, dim light? Because a light could be dim. Remember that. Light passes through the filters of what you do. Remember that. So if you consider yourself as a lamp, what kind of shade do you have on you? Or are you a naked light? So keep that in mind. What kind of light are you casting around you? Are you providing light in the darkness, or are you adding on to the confusion in the darkness? Remember, if you're in a very, very dark place and you're the only light that can be seen, people will gravitate towards you. And that's why we are also supposed to be responsible for our actions. So think about that. That's also one of the many layers, again, of this beautiful work of art. And if we're also going to consider parts of, like, just focusing on the book, what is the most valuable commodity in the Congo? At the time, it was just ivory. So, what is the most valuable commodity? What does ivory represent? Another thing to consider. And then, um, if you also if you also consider the characters, who is Marlowe representing? Marlowe again is the main character. He's the captain. Uh, so think about that as well. And then the minor characters. Like I said, it's a really beautiful book. But there are just two main characters, Marlowe and Captain Kurtz, and then most of the minor characters would be in the book. Please, if you have some time, if you can have access to it, if you have an Apple product, I would strongly suggest go to the Books app or download the Books app. The Heart of Darkness is free. You can download it for free. Audiobooks are also available. I would strongly suggest, please, take advantage of this. It will enrich your life. It's not too late to start reading the book or listening to the book. I think an audiobook would work better, since you can still function. You can do it while doing the laundry. You can listen to it while cooking or driving or whatnot. Just like podcasts. I'll try to upload more on Spotify because we've already broken ground on Spotify. No one's no one subscribed to us yet on Spotify. So if you'd prefer, if you don't have time to watch the videos here, it's okay. It's not a problem. You can always go to either Spotify or Facebook. We're also on Facebook. If you have, like, again, any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. Don't hesitate. I would really love to hear from you if you have anything. So I'll just keep this short. I don't think we have um, anything further um, on the book. I'll just close it with uh, a short excerpt again from the book. I put a highlight on it. Oh, there you go. Yep, I think this is it. Yep. Hmm. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry. I'm just uh, uh, there. Um, this is from the near end of the book, if I'm not mistaken. It's the near end of the story. This is just in closing. Marlowe met with Kurt's wife, and this is like the conversation between them. Um, he drew men towards him by what was best in them. It is the gift of the great, and the sound of her low voice seemed to have the accompaniment of all other sounds, full of mystery, desolation, and sorrow. I had ever heard the ripple of the river and the sawing or rustling of the trees swayed by the wind, and the murmurs of the crowd, and the faint ring in the incomprehensible words cried from afar, the whisper of a voice speaking from beyond the threshold of eternal darkness. But you have heard him, you know. Yes, I know, I said, with something like despair in my heart, but bowing my head before the faith that was in her, before that great and saving illusion that shone with the unearthly glow in the darkness, in the triumphant darkness from which I could have defended her, from which I could not even defend myself. What a loss to me, to us, she corrected herself with beautiful generosity, then added in murmur, to the world. By the last gleams of twilight, I could see her, the glitter of her eyes full of tears, and of tears that would not fall. I have been very happy and very fortunate and very proud, she went on. Too fortunate, too happy for a little while, and now I am unhappy for life. And that's how I would like to close it. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry. It just plays in my head how this book literally helped me change my perspective. A lot of the past is like just flooding in, very very fresh. Let's try to remember that there are layers to what we do, and we are responsible for the actions that we take. We are responsible for the effects that we have on people. We are responsible for everything that comes after what you've done, the words that you've spoken, the things that you have done or created, the memories that you leave behind. We're all responsible for this, one way or the other. So, again, this is This is Joey from Elias Journeys. I'm really sorry. The book has really brought me back to a different place. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. And again, as always, life is about making choices. I'll play the song one last time. I really love this song. Albert, thank you very much. I love this, man. I love this, man. I really love this song, bro. Thank you very much for letting me play it. Again, this is Albert Macadamia Rico. He's on Facebook. Please find him. The title of the song is Hope. It was written March 2011. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your day. Thank you very much. This is Joey again. Have a beautiful day. Elias Journeys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sir Francis Basalo. Sarge. Good evening, Sarge. Thank you for watching. Kenneth, kailan na yung ano mo, kailan na yung interview mo? Ang pucha, oh. Sir Warren, thank you very much, as always, for watching and joining us every broadcast. So again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. May each and every one of you have a wonderful and safe rest of your evening, and hopefully tomorrow you will remain the same. In the safe context, but hopefully you can still continuously evolve and make a better version of yourself. So again, thank you very much. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your evening.